Okay. Next, Rob says, I just recently purchased a franchise product that provides SEO services. It's not from you guys. Well, then we're skipping this question. No, I'm kidding. He says it's not from you guys. The company gave some exhausted training on how to sell the services, but seems like everything was leaning towards cold calling and door knocking in order to get clients. I somehow came across you guys on the internet and purchased the Battleplan. I have a website that the franchise gave to me for lead gen, but was not familiar with how to set it up for lead gen. Does the Battleplan product help with that? And is there something else I could use with your products to get the ball rolling a little faster? Sorry for the long text. Okay. Well, as far as lead gen, using for lead gen for like getting clients, really all you need is a landing page that describes your services and has a real big strong call to action to contact you. Right? Typically, it's going to be your phone number real big, perhaps your email address if you want to publish that. I don't like to do that, or a contact form. Right? Want some more information? Contact us or contact me, depending on how you're branding your business. Contact me here, and then have a little contact form. But so that's just standard, right? That's just a standard lead gen type web page. So you can set your own, like for example, my own agency website is just a one-page site. That's all it is. It just says what I do, and there's a contact form at the bottom. So if and there's contact buttons, in several locations. If they click it, it just scrolls down to the bottom right where the form is. That's it. That's all I do. Because that's for inbound marketing, right? So typically you're going to be driving people to a landing page if you've got inbound marketing set up. So that's like running ads to drive traffic to your landing page, or it could be organic stuff. But what I found is, as a marketing consultant myself, right, running my own agency, I found that most of the time that I've been able to secure clients is when I'm going out and doing outbound marketing, where I'm contacting them, right? I know you can get inbound leads, but personally for my own business, I don't get a lot of inbound leads. Most of the inbound leads I do get is from referrals from existing clients, but I don't get a whole lot of cold leads coming from Google, or I don't do a lot of pay-per-click marketing to get clients, but from just straight SEO. I rank well for SEO Virginia and things like that, but I don't typically get a lot of leads from that. What I've gotten most of my leads from was me doing the outreach. And you're right. I hate cold calling. I hate door knocking. I hate it. I absolutely despise it. So we developed a product called Video Lead Gen System, which I've been using since 2012 to build my own agency. And I recently streamlined it because we built a whole bunch of lead gen assets and needed to find a way to get service providers or to monetize our lead gen assets. And so I needed a way to streamline the video lead gen or video email prospecting method that I had always been using, because it was time consuming, very effective, but time consuming. So we created video lead gen system and then updated it recently and just relaunched it. So if you're interested in that, I'm sure, Adam, you probably already dropped the link to it, but I would recommend that you try that because that's a great way to get people to get noticed, or to get a conversation or a dialogue started with potential prospects. Because think about this. If you just recently are starting to try to build your own agency, I'm going to tell you now that it is a saturated market out there when dealing with local businesses or business owners, period. It doesn't have to be local businesses, but business owners get hammered relentlessly by marketing and advertising companies. All the time they're getting solicitations via cold emails, via cold calls, by people knocking on their doors, seriously, like walking in and pitching them, just like what your franchise company is telling you to do. That's like the normal now. And so you really need to differentiate yourself. You need to be able to make yourself stand above the competitors or get noticed through all that noise. And so that's why I said the video lead gen system is a great way to separate yourself from the rest of the pack and just becoming another solicitor, right? And so again, guys, I'm not discouraging anybody from getting into, providing client services or becoming an agency and all that. But I will tell you that it's a lot harder now than it was 5 years ago to get clients' attention or prospects' attention. And that's because of, it's just an absolute feeding frenzy out there. The businesses get hammered nonstop with solicitation calls and emails and offers all the time. And so you have to really be able to stand stand out from that crowd. So the video lead gen system is a great way to do that. It does require some work. It's not a magic bullet, and it requires consistent follow-up. But we talk about all of that in the training. And if you implement that, you'll see that you will start to get much, much higher response rates than you would from typical cold calls or, walking in the door and calling on it. Think about this, guys. And I've done door-to-door sales in the past. Think about, as a business owner, like I work from home and I can't stand it when somebody knocks on my door, like to try to, whether it's a Jehovah's Witness or a census person, somebody wanting to ask questions for the Census Bureau or anything like that. Somebody comes and beats on my door and I'm in the middle of working or recording a video or something like that. It's an interruption. It pisses me off. I also don't answer the phone unless I know who the phone call is from. And if I'm expecting the call. As a business owner myself, I don't want to be interrupted. So think about when you cold call somebody or you go walk in their door and, knock on their door to say and try to sell them something. What you're doing is interrupting them. And that pisses a lot of people off. So I don't recommend that at all. I recommend you get more creative on your pitch and your approach and make it easy for them and convenient for them to hear your message. And that's part of the reason why the video lead gen system works so well, because you can send them a personalized video that explains why you reached out to them, and they can watch it when it's convenient to them. And when you set up notifications properly, you'll know exactly when they're watching your video, so you can follow up with them immediately, right? So that was a really good question. But like I said, when it comes down to the battle plan, no, battle plan is going to tell you how to get results from getting your website seen and get traffic to them and get better results for them for SEO and all that kind of stuff. But lead gen, a standard lead gen template is very simple. You can just go to Google and look up lead gen, landing page templates and things like that and get an idea of what your basic elements are that you should have. And then the rest of it is really about honing your message, right? Crafting your message and finding an approach that's going to get people's attention and get them to want to follow back up with you. Okay. Turn a cold lead into a warm lead. And that's what the video lead gen system is all about.
In our free Facebook group, Adam did a post on the 31st of May, and he talked to us about this, how he uses the video lead gen system with Loom to follow up. So he says it makes it more personal, right? They're used to video, so he sends them a video, and he says his conversions are way higher. Why don't you talk about that, Adam?
Yeah, definitely. It's such an easy system to use, and it's funny because videos used to be tough to do. And I remember I copied Bradley's method from the first version of video lead gen system and using images and this, that, and the other thing. But now these tools like Loom have made this so much easier, where I can put the video, it plays natively in Gmail. And even if it didn't, it looks like an image is there. And then not only that, because I went ahead, that's just the free version. I went ahead and paid for it when they, brought out their pro version or whatever. And I can put an overlay link that goes anywhere I want on there, which is awesome. So the conversions on this stuff is super high, like Bradley says, and anyone who's gone through the course and put it to use knows how well this works. I mean, it's crazy getting 30-40+% conversion rates in a method that most people get 1% or less. And then the follow-up is super important. At POFU Live in 2018 in DC, did a little exercise. I had people stand up and I said, assuming everybody here is involved in some sort of business where they talk with customers, I said, you guys all in this room, everybody does some sort of follow-up, right? And, everybody nodded their heads. Yep. Okay. So I said, everybody stand up and I'm going to say a number starting with 1 and working my way up and say, how many, automated follow-up, either calls or emails do you have in your business right now? So started at 1. And, everybody was pretty much still standing up, said 2, a few people sat down, got to 3, more people sitting down. By 4, there was very few people standing. And I may have this wrong, but I think by the time I got to 6, there was 1 person in the entire room standing up. I didn't even have 6, which I've since fixed. But your rate of response from people goes up hugely as you keep going. And we all know this, that, we're supposed to maintain this contact and we're supposed to follow up with people. But if you don't have this process or this method to do it, you get busy, you got other things you want to do. It's not fun, but this is what gets results. So, highly encourage anyone who doesn't have a great method for doing this, that isn't already giving you fantastic results, to just go grab the video lead gen system, put it to work. And this is one of the fastest courses to return your money and then probably 10 or 100-fold over time.
Yeah. And last thing I want to say about that is also if you're going to be pitching or prospecting for your new business, I recommend that you really do niche down to a particular industry, because you'll get really, really good at being able to speak directly to that type of business owner, as opposed to being all over the place. Where if you're going to be marketing to pretty much just to businesses in general, you have to really understand what's important to every business industry, and speak to those owners with their own vocabulary. It's very difficult, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of experience to get good at being a general marketer. It's much easier and much more scalable to become a specialist, or like a boutique marketing professional. In other words, where you really niche down and become an industry specific professional, because then you really only need to come up with, like, learn the vocabulary, the pain points, the hot buttons, know what the customers for that particular business are looking for, what their needs are, all of that. It makes it so much easier to scale. And then you can just expand your business by targeting more locations, right? Expand your service area essentially, but you're still targeting the same business owner, the same business type. I would recommend that highly.